The NRL finals are only weeks away and the heat is well and truly on for those teams still in contention for the top 8 and the top 4. I'm Paul Grzadka, joined by Anthony Seibold, and today on The Game Plan we are looking at two mammoth encounters taking place in round 22. Seibs, let's start with two of the heavyweights in recent years, the last two clubs to be our premiers in Penrith and Melbourne. The Panthers may be down a few of their stars, but one player who perhaps doesn't get the recognition he deserves was the main reason the Panthers still got the win in Canberra last weekend. Talk about what Dylan Edwards brings to the competition leaders.
Yeah, well, he's very underrated, Dylan Edwards. I wouldn't imagine with his coaching staff or his peers at the Penrith Panthers, but what he does off the ball on both sides of the ball in attack and defence is immense. And I want to show a set of 6, and it's when Penrith are defending inside their own 20-metre zone, and they've actually got a player in James Fisher-Harris in the sin bin. So they're down to 12 players. And I want to point out a couple of things. One of the roles of Dylan Edwards, who is in this position here, close to the line, is to organise the defensive structure of the Penrith Panthers. So what he's done is this. He's got himself 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders on that particular field position there, defending the left-hand side shape where Jack Whiten is. And what he's done on the other side is organise that line as well. So one of his first things he needs to do is make sure he's got the defensive numbers on each side of the ruck. As I let it play through, you'll see there, they protected that right-hand side. The ball goes away from him. So here he is in the back of the field there for the Panthers, just scanning, making sure that he stays one pass inside the ball. He needs to be one pass inside the ball in case they make a line break or they put ball to boot and kick the ball on the ground. So it plays through. Adam Elliott for the Raiders gets an offload away to Starling. There's a little bit of movement, but you can see in the backfield again, Dylan Edwards tracking the ball, making sure that he's organising defensive line. So again, you'll see the Panthers, they've got 2 markers close to the line. What he's done again is organise the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on that right-hand side for the Penrith Panthers against the left-hand side edge attack to make sure they can take away the threats. Now, what you'll see is there's a drop-off there from Fogarty. And you'll see again who makes the tackle. Well, it's the number 1 for the Panthers. So again, he's in the tackle here. So again, he's filling the space when the ball goes away. We spoke about staying one pass inside. I'll let it play through. Now we go to the third tackle. Again, you can see him scanning. He's organising the line, talking to the line, making sure players know which side of the play the ball they need to be. Ball goes away from him again. There he is, comes in to make the tackle. Inside the tackle again, close to the line. You'll see his head pop up in a minute. There he is again. So, again, he's been involved in every single play defensively for the Panthers. All right, so now we go to the fourth there. He's tracking the ball. Ball goes away. So his movement off the ball here now in the backfield is immense. And what he's trying to do is make sure that he stays in front of the try line. If he goes behind the try line to make a line break, then he can't force the tackle. He's also looking for a grubber kick. You'll see him in position there to ground the ball, and that's defending with 12 players. So Dylan Edwards plugging himself in the line, organising the defensive splits with the Penrith Panthers. There's a lot of work that goes in that, a lot of talk that goes in that. But what I love about Dylan Edwards is his work off the ball.
Yeah, as they say, he's one of the fittest in the competition. Let's move on to the Storm, and the fact that Cameron Munster was forced to play fullback last week may have unlocked a new game plan for coach Craig Bellamy, despite the fact that he will move back into 6 this week.
Yeah, well, he's a super talented player, as we know. He came through in 2015 and 2014 when he made his debut against the Cowboys as a fullback, and he was a replacement for Billy Slater at the time. One of the things that he brought on Friday night against the Titans was his ability to attack in the wider channel, the wider field position. So you'll see what I mean here now. So on the weekend, we had Jerome Hughes and Cooper Johns playing in the halves. And what that allowed Cameron Munster to do was play a couple of holes wider. So there you can see Cameron Munster on the edges, and he's got that space to attack. Young Tonmapia is on his left-hand side there. So Munster in space and time, he's hard to handle. And because of his ability to transfer the ball and take the line on, he goes through there, he carries the ball in his left hand. So you'll see that with Cameron Munster. Big right-hand fend, left-hand carry, goes through on Tanner Boyd, gets the offload away to Kenny Bromwich, and Cooper Johns finishes the movement for the Melbourne Storm. That's one area they used him last Friday night. The other area is this. So you'll see 2 ball players here. So there's Brandon Smith and there's Cooper Johns, which again allows Cameron Munster to be a little bit wider. So Kenny Bromwich is leading, trying to take the last 2 defenders out of play or get their interest. And you'll see Cameron Munster here at the back of shape. So a little bit more space, a little bit more time for Cameron Munster. Again, have a look what he does. They've created a 1, 2, 3 versus 2 situation on the edge. And you can see both those Gold Coast Titans defenders are turned out. Munster, he's a show and go special. Again, what he does, transfers the ball to his left hand, He's got his right hand free in case he needs to fend, goes through, scores the try. So fantastic work again by Cameron Munster and the Melbourne Storm. Last one is this. So what Munster's seen here is the space between defenders, that space and that space. And because there's so much space, Aaron Clark for the Gold Coast Titans has got all eyes on Jesse Bromwich. So what that enables Munster to do, again, carry the ball in two hands. What's he do? He goes to one hand with a show and go, got his right hand free for a fend. He takes the line on, he's hard to handle. Now, he's going to be back playing 5'8", we think, for the Storm this week against the Panthers, but expect him to run. Expect him to take the line on, regardless of whether he plays fullback or 5'8", he's so dangerous.
Such a dangerous player that we love to watch. Let's move on to the huge Friday night clash now. Parramatta, they've been very impressive in back-to-back wins over Penrith and Manly. Now they host an in-form South Sydney, and even though the Eels will be missing their star halfback in Mitchell Moses, let's talk about how the new halves combination goes in Dylan Brown and Jake Arthur to overcome the absence of Moses.
Yeah, so what we've seen from Jake Arthur, he lives on the right-hand side there for the Parramatta Eels, and what will happen is Dylan Brown will take control of the left-hand side, and Guthers hasn't got a bit of a licence to float. So I'll give you an example here. So there's young Jake Arthur on the right-hand side there for the Eels, and you'll see the two other ball players together, Dylan Brown and Clint Gutherson on that long side of the open side of the field. As I play it through, there's Dylan Brown. So he's got Sean Lane leading hard in here, trying to take some bodies or get some bodies interested in Sean Lane. And he can hit short to Sean Lane, or he can hit out the back to Clint Gutherson. He hit short this time to Sean Lane. Now we know Lane can offload in tackles. So Clint Gutherson, again, great with his push support, goes through. And you'll see he's got Reid Marnie and Dylan Brown there on the inside if he needs to use them. Now he runs away and scores the try. But what I wanted to show you that was because Brown's on the short side and there's two ball players, Arthur's on the short side and two ball players in Brown and Gutherson on that long side. So again, this time, one of Dylan Brown's strengths, as we know, is taking the line on. So some of the best sixers in our competition are brilliant with their show and go. Dylan Brown's one of them. So all he's looking for is defenders to turn out. So all he's looking for is someone here interested on the outside. That's what he's looking for. And if they turn out, then he's going to show and go. So you can see Kohler there in the number 4 jersey for the Eagles just turns out a fraction, which means Dylan Brown, that's his cue to take the line on, goes away from Ruben Garrick as well and scores a special try there. So last but not least, I spoke about the two ball players on the same side. And what you'll see this time, we'll see Dylan Brown and we'll see Clint Gutherson on that long side. And what that enables Jake Arthur to do is have a presence. And when he looks up and sees an opportunity on that right-hand side, short side, he can go there. Now, this time he goes to boot to ball. And why he's gone boot to ball and kicked on the short side is because Manly would have game planned by Ruben Garrick defending or lining up on where Dylan Brown and also Clint Gutherson are. So you'll see Ruben Garrick's out of the picture here and there's all this space in behind the Manly left-hand side edge D. So Arthur boot the ball, Panasini comes through and you see Garrick there turn up late in the picture. Couldn't quite get to the ball because he was positioned on the two halves on the long side. So smart play by Jake Arthur. He's a really good reader of the game. And I think starting with Jake Arthur while Mitchell Moses is out is a smart thing to do for the Parramatta Eels. Very composed young player.
Great stuff. Let's move on to Souths now. They were so impressive in their big win over the Warriors last Saturday. It was one man, Cameron Murray, that really got the ball rolling for the Rabbitohs.
Well, he set up the first 3 tries last week. And the thing I like about Cameron Murray, he's playing with so much variation in his game. So to give our viewers a bit of a look at what he does, often he's the first receiver. So you'll see the halves in Lachlan Ilias, Cody Walker, being behind Cameron Murray as the ball player. So this is the first example there. So there's Cam Murray, all right? In the number 13 jersey for the Bunnies. He's got Junior Totola leading hard on the next defender, and he's got Lachlan Ilias out the back of shape. So with Junior Totola holding up this defender here, there's an opportunity for Lachlan Ilias to run and take the line on, because you can see Wade Egan out here, the left-hand side halfback for the Warriors. He's really wide with his spacing. So really good play there by Cam Murray, digging into the line. Junior Totola does his job and Lachlan Ilias does the rest. So that's the first 4-pointer. So not long after this, there's Cam Murray. So again, Cam Murray is a ball player. carrying the ball in two hands. He's got Jai Arrow leading. Again, trying to get some interest from the Warriors' right-hand side defence. Who's out the back? Well, it's that man, Cody Walker. So we know how dangerous he is. So Cam Murray, because he's got the ball in two hands, has got options. He can show and dig into the line. He can pass short to Jai Arrow, or he can play at the back to Cody Walker. So this time, he sees young Freddie Lussick turn out. So you can see Lussick there, turned out. So that's the cue that Cam Murray and the ball players look for. Takes the line on, gets through the line. Damien Cook looms up in support on his left-hand side shoulder, and you're not going to stop Cookie from there. So really good job there by Cameron Murray, holding the ball in two hands, so he's got some options and variation. All right, last but not least, you can see again, this is the setup. There's Cam Murray in the 13. He'll have Junior Totola leading for him, and he's got Cody Walker, the left-hand side half of the bunnies out the back of shape. So again, he's got options here. He can show and dig, he can play short to Junior Totola, or he can play at the back to Cody Walker. This time, again, he's looking for defenders turning out. You can see there the number 12, Jack Murchie for the Warriors. He just leans out a fraction. So that enables Cam Murray to poke his nose through. Junior Totola already pushing in support. And again, that's the first 3 tries for the Bunnies last weekend. So Cam Murray had a brilliant start to the game, had great variation, and the game was built off the back of their attack. So watch out for Cam Murray on Friday night against the Eels.
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks so much, Seib. I can't wait to see how these 2 games turn out. Remember, if you want to get to these games or any of the matches in round 22, then simply head to nrl.com/tickets. If you can't get to the games, you can still watch it on Channel 9, Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or cable.